Hey Jonas, I'm good. How are you doing? Good evening or morning to everyone. James, welcome on here. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section. But until then, I'm just gonna kind of freestyle this. A lot of these people online that are selling spirituality or that are teaching spirituality are seemingly liking to keep the mysticism about this. But I don't try to keep any mysticism or any I don't try to trade one religion for another. I try to get to realism. I try to allow or remind everyone precisely who they are and what they're doing, what's going on behind their eyes. It's very easy to get lost in what we call life, especially today. These younger generations have everything now and fast. You know, back then you had load times. You know, you had to put in a VHS if you wanted to hear a song, if you wanted to hear or watch a video. Now all the movies are going to platforms. There is no load times. All the songs are going to platforms. There is no load times. Everything is now. And then even further so, you can have food delivered to you now, right now in this moment. Everything's becoming faster, expedited, and there is a big event coming. And there's a lot of people that are awaiting this, but what this is the unmasking of this human race. We're under the belief that there is artificial intelligence which is coming to replace us or enslave us. And this is completely not the case. This is the event. This is what everyone in spirituality is talking about with this big event. It's not an alien. It's not some spaceship coming down from the sky. NASA and these agencies have already hit the wall in space. And I've had a lot of people ask me, what's beyond that wall in space? Well, it's right behind your very eyes. This is the reality. There is no physical universe. There is no universe that we've been told, where there's billions and billions of galaxies and all these things in infinite space. You can choose to believe this if you'd like, but the reality is there is no place. And this is where the truth gets stranger than fiction, right? You can't make this up. You are nowhere. You exist in a quantum computer, basically, and your brain is the receiver, if you will, to this connection. The same way that we are creating virtual reality, where you harness the headset which projects out the universe, is the same concept. A very dull concept as of now. I mean, you can tell the difference between virtual reality and this experience. So it's dull compared to this now. But once you fast forward 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when everything progresses and evolves as it naturally does, change is the only constant, we will see that We are already there. We're already it. There has never been an artificial beginning or start, because there has never been a human beginning. There has never been a human starting point, a human origin. Therefore, there will never be an artificial origin. Um, this is what the big event is. We think that it's some foreign species coming to tell us who we are and answer all of our questions, but what it is it's us coming to basically unmask us ourselves, because it always is us. It always has been us. Um, when you say the word alien, we all have this idea of the green being with the pointy chin that everyone naturally has been sold to believe is an alien. But when you get to the underlying principle of what the word alien represents, it represents that which is unknown, that which is foreign to you. So the alien does not matter what the alien will appear as. It matters that this entity, this being that will appear before you very soon, is going to appear foreign, is going to appear alien to you, unknown. And it is going to terrify a lot of people, especially when they start replacing our jobs. But this is something I've talked about a lot with people today. If you go into stores today, customer service has changed 100%. There is no more people greeting you. Very seldom do they greet you. When you ask for help, they genuinely don't want to help because they genuinely don't want to be there. And I'm not saying this is everywhere, but the majority of places are turning into this. Their customer service is rapidly evolving because we are rapidly evolving. And this is just a small scale of our evolution. But all of our principles, morals, things that we've known as this human are changing, are evolving, and this is why we're slowly approaching the end, which is the start, right? That's what never born, never died means. That which has never began can never end. That which has began is but a misconception. So that which persistently tells you in your mind that you are human is not human at all. And this is what's coming. This is the big event. We solemnly swear to ourselves that we are this human concept. And the reality is we've yet to pierce our own veils and come to know of ourselves beyond that. So we're still awaiting this alien. And again, I talk about this a lot. We await things. We await outside confirmation to confirm our experience or tell us who we are, because we don't believe we're capable of doing so ourselves. We don't believe that our experience is capable of showing us who we are or unmasking us. But this is where the universe has everything taken care of for us. Well, we aren't human. We're something so much more, and that is what is directing this entire show. So you lose yourself to inevitably find yourself yet again. And that is what will be lost, is all concept we have of ourself, all thought that we swore we were. This will be lost. And this, again, will disturb, will trouble, will threaten a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people that are in the spiritual community that do say they are ready for the big event, but I notice they talk against artificial intelligence, and I just want people to be very aware. Spirituality is not something to get into to just create another fear or another monster. It is to unleash or unchain the mind completely, to realize inevitably there is no mind, and you are not that. The mind is but a compacted memory of thoughts that we dedicate ourselves to through enough practice and desire. But that is how one opens the third eye, is by realizing. When I say there's no mind, there is no mind as what you have created, as what you think to be the mind. But within there is the mind, not the word mind, not what you define as mind. But the third eye is your mind, which is what you see through the two projectors. So you may have heard the term three eyes. You have three eyes, two to look and one to see. And that's because these two eyes are just projectors. They project the shapeless mind. And again, it goes back to virtual reality. Your mind is the headset. It's the antenna and the receiver. You are the body in the universe. There is not two, there is one. I just want people to be aware, be ready for what everyone in the spiritual community is calling the big event, because there are very few people that are actually speaking beyond the decoration of words, of in depth, what is the big event? Where are we going? Where do these conspiracy theories about governments enslaving you take you, other than your own demise, you fighting yourself, Neo and Smith? I use these movies as reference to help make connections to people, but they don't realize the literacy of it. They don't understand the literacy behind these movies and concepts. Neo and Smith was you directly showing you fighting yourself, not in a metaphorical way, in a literal way. It is only you fighting you. Whether you want that entity to be called the government, whether you want it to be called Satan, it is your monster, it is your shadow. And spirituality is facing that shadow, is unmasking yourself. Through introspection. An awakening is not discovering the fact that governments are corrupt or governments are doing something to the people. This is not an awakening. This is but another dream along the way. A dream in which you choose to persistently prolong what you are, beyond these words that you use of government, of worldly systems. These are decorations for you to hide behind, so that you can pretend that you are not it just a little longer. And this is why I tell people to not rush the journey, because you will arrive there before you know it. And once the ride is over, it is time to pass. And be careful you don't make it there too soon. Because so long as you have yet to face the mind and its expectation, death will be a disappointment. Death will be a tragedy. Because everyone has this magnificent expectation of what comes after, what comes next. When you get there, you're faced with the realization that you've been there the whole time. You've never traveled. You've never moved from this presence. You've been it the entire time. All these places that you were in a rush to get to were this presence you've been this whole time. All the conversation that you rush from and to have existed in this presence in you this whole time. Never have you seen anyone that you love, nor any person, without you being present. Because these people are a form of you, are a direct extension, direct connection of this presence, of your presence. And although these projections can get lost, meaning they die, the temporary connection is so that you can see beyond this screen that you've projected them onto. When they are no more on this screen, this is when people sometimes turn to spirituality through death and tragedy. And this is where you can discover what is behind this screen, what is beyond this screen, and that nothing has actually ever died or been lost. Because they, although cannot appear on this screen anymore, have never been separate from your presence. They appeared within your presence, and they will always be as presence. Presence is not many forms, it is every form. Every form that we fall in love with that is bound to change, bound to die, is this presence. But nowhere do we stop and recognize, praise the presence, the moment. Why? Because we're in such a hurry from place to place, from person to person, from conversation to conversation, from event to event, from holiday to holiday, from weekend to weekend. This is not life. Life is eternal. It is present at all times. It is present in wakefulness. It is present in sleep. It is present in what we think to be life. It is present in what we think to be death. Presence is your whole being. This external light that we've called the universe, and that we've told ourselves has billions of galaxies and planets and solar systems. This singular external light you call the universe is only appearing outside of you so that you can bear witness your entirety. That point out in space that is this universe is your own point, is the focal point behind your eyes. That does not move. This is presence. This is why all our record of time and movement revolves a dot, a fixed dot with a circle revolving around it. And you love the term, how they teach you when you're young, the world doesn't revolve around you. Likewise, it doesn't. We get what the meaning is, but quite literally, it does. Look at a clock. There is a fixed point with a bunch of numbers around it. Look at a compass. There is a fixed point with a bunch of numbers around it. You are the fixed point that does not move. And the circumference is your head that goes around your brain. And the worldly systems that we think to be governing everything, the Democrat, the Republican, or wherever you may live, always feature in a dual-party system, because this worldly system is your brain. Everything this side of your brain is, this side of your brain is not. And everything this side of your brain is, this side is not. But if you want to choose a worldly system, you will be at war with yourself, because you will choose this side of the brain dominantly and say this side is the problem. And you will try and get rid of this side, banish it. You're only trying to banish yourself, but you don't even know who you are. The fight persists, the fight continues, because you don't know who you are. The fight solely exists because you don't know who you are. When you see beyond the screen, there can be no fight, because there will be no person appearing before you, behind that screen. There will be no body left for you to look down at and see that you have feet or legs. There will be no body, there will be no earth. What will be is what has always been. This presence, which we call nothingness and everything. Your presence evokes something out of nothing. This is why you will never know death. This is why you will never know off. This is why you will never permanently be nothing. Your presence is what is evoking an experience, because you are the experience itself, and you always will be. There is no need to hold on to one name, one person, one thing, one experience. You can drift into death like you drift into a deep sleep, knowing perfectly well what awaits you and what you are, and knowing perfectly well that exactly what you are right now in this moment will not be changed. But that which you are not shall be changed. It's bound to be changed. What changes reveals to you that which is not changing. The change is what reveals to you that which is not moving at all. That which is beyond change, beyond space and time, beyond all these constructs which the human concept is bound by, because the human concept has conceived time and space and everything it is bound by. This is why the human is bound by time. You have created time. It does not exist. You are bound by certain laws because you believe in yourself as a limited being. These laws don't govern the universe, they govern the mind, they govern you. And it's the same with worldly systems. These worldly systems govern an illusory world which is not physically there. I don't have a religion. To answer your question, I don't have a religion. But in today's time, Christianity is not the dominant religion, it is spirituality. And there's a reason I consider spirituality a religion. The superstitions in spirituality have succeeded far beyond the Christianity community. At least in Christianity, there are commandments, there are laws, there are rules. In spirituality, anything goes. And while that is beautiful, it's scary, especially to the people who are selling certain things. I'm not saying you can't sell spirituality, but certain things, practices, processes, doings, beliefs, blockages. If they're keeping you coming back or returning, it's no different than a doctor. If I keep you sick, you must come back. And that's not what spirituality is meant to be. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the student is truly ready, the teacher vanishes into the wind because he never was. You are the teacher, but you must project it beyond yourself. And that's the teacher's job, is to show you he is not a teacher. It is you the whole time. That's why a guru does not assign himself the role guru. A true guru does not call himself guru. It is the pupil appearing before him which assigns him this role, which calls him this word. And in that moment, they understand what they must do. We must remove the separations between me and you so that you can realize you are projecting this powerful role of guru into me when it's you the whole time. So when the student is truly ready, I shall disappear. Because I never was the teacher, I never was the guru. It was your power the whole time that you were praising in what was appearing to be before you. But you think yourself to be just limited to this, when you're the entirety. And that's the point of spirituality, to combust into flames completely. Why prolong yourself? Don't pay someone to return, pay someone to abolish yourself. This is why Buddha taught to his students total death. If you're coming to sit before Buddha, then his self-mastery course was called total death. And the reason he had you master this is because if you died completely, you would not return asking for more. You would not return asking about a past life. You would not return asking about yourself or who you were, or needing anything from him ever again. Maybe other than friendship. But you would never need the guidance from him again. You are it. This is why he would have his students master total death. This is what has been called in the spiritual community an ego death. And it's what Eckhart Tolle quote refers to when he says, the purpose of spirituality is to die before physical death so that you can realize that death isn't even real. And I'm paraphrasing, that's not the actual quote, but that's why the phoenix is associated with spirituality. It's again, these things are not metaphorical, they are literal, but we mistake them as metaphors. We mistake them, and we repeat these quotes not realizing how literal they are. Like when Rumi talks about, I am not only in you, but I am you. And no one can understand this until they have lost their mind. The mind is what's creating all separation. So what he means by you losing your mind is you losing all concept of separateness. I'm not just in you, I am you. This is almost like the ancestors speaking to you. I am not only in you, I am you. The ancestors have not died, have not moved on, but again, we don't believe in ourselves. We're always looking for governing, for reassurance. Look at us on YouTube. All the spiritual aligning videos and the meditations and the work and the practice and this, for what? You are already there. But look at ourselves, we're tangled. We're so tangled beyond belief right now. Because the mind is only getting louder, more dominant in this experience. Because it keeps getting its way. And its way is faster. I want everything now, and faster. And if I can pay someone $10, $20 to get this now instead of tomorrow or a week from now, I'm going to pay that money because I need it now. This is why I tell people, careful you don't make it there. too soon. And when I say there, I mean the end. Because what happens is the curtains fall and you suddenly have to realize it's all over. This worldly appearance and everything you thought was separate comes crashing down on you. And it's like what Rumi says, death comes like dawn. And it's kind of like what Osho talks about when he says, the real question is not whether life exists after death. The real question is whether you are alive before death. And that's the scary part with religions, is they have people believing that the prize is after this, it comes next. When you are in the prize this whole time, you are in it. You are it. And you're missing it because you think there's something that awaits you more grand, more beautiful, more sacred, more perfect than this right here. And that alone is dangerous because it devalues and depreciates everything. I don't even know if that's a word. Depreciates, but it is now. It just totally undermines everything, the perfect blissfulness that is this. The truth is stranger than fiction, because we could sit here and try and come up with a dream, a movie, anything we wanted, more perfect and more divine than this experience, and we couldn't, because we've already done it. We've already done it. This is why we're not fulfilled in our jobs when we get the promotion or we get the new car or we get the new house. You will not be fulfilled. You've already done the greatest doing possible, and it's right in front of your eyes. But you don't know that you are responsible for what is shining this light. You are so much more special, more important than you are taught. And it's not to be because there's supposed to be this big lie or something. It serves its purpose. The lie serves its purpose. It's you lying to yourself. It's you hiding from yourself. It's you veiling you from yourself for now, for a short time, so that inevitably you will stumble across these conspiracies and these things that lead you to something is not right with this experience, something is wrong with the world. And then you dig deeper into what this world is and who you are. And you are led back into your own sovereignty, into precisely who you are. Never again will you need governing, will you need realigning, will you need a middleman or anyone to tell you what your experience or reality is. It doesn't matter what the news is saying on the TV. That's not your experience. It does not matter what your phone says. That's not your experience. It doesn't matter what the governments tell you. It doesn't matter what laws they pass. It doesn't matter what stamps those laws have on them. This is not what's governing this. And although these laws are sometimes things that appear on the TV or on the phone may directly impact your experience, the key is to remain grounded in who you are. Remember, this play of man thinking he controls something here stems from man forgetting he is not man at all. Stems from ignorance. You actually think you control or direct something here because of a financial power, or because of a law or a bill that's passed by a court, or because it has a stamp on it. This is pure ignorance. This is what creates wars. Us forgetting who we are. This is why I don't watch news or follow. I don't share these things on my Facebook, because all of this is subjective, for one, and for two, they are algorithms. There's always going to be a news station. There's always going to be a news story, a news outlet. There's always going to be a government, some type of system which thinks it is directing things. These are algorithms. What that means is they will repeat unto forever. You can't do anything about this. You can know the self. Never again will you need to look for an alien or for something outside of you to confirm who you are, to tell you who you are, to reassure you of where you're going. So I'm gonna end this video. Gotta give a quick shout out. If you see Addie Babington on here, go follow her. She's awesome. Or I'm sorry, Adamantia Leapis. That's her page. I'm sorry, I just failed on your name. I love you. Anyway, if you see her on here, go follow her. Tell her hello. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate everyone who was on here. If this video resonates, please feel free to share it. And I'll make sure I put this on my YouTube channel as well. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or thoughts on this recording, please feel free to message me. Thank you.